As we head into yet another week of WWE program, last week's SmackDown with Daniel Bryan and Jeff Hardy main eventing only drew 1.841 million viewers. According to Wrestling Inc., this was down 14% from last week's 2.137 million viewers. This was after the Royal Rumble. I believe the WWE has got to do better, especially with having the deal with Fox coming up real soon in October. October be here before we know it. So I think that's something that they definitely need to work on. It is also reported that that was the lowest SmackDown audience for USA, and it was even lower than SmackDown from this past Christmas. I think that the WWE and SmackDown need to start looking at different writers and bookers. I think it's time to get some of the boys back on creative and all these guys who want to write TV. I think it's time for them to go. It's been time for them to go, but this is getting really, really bad for Raw and SmackDown with all these major deals that they've got going on. That's not a good look. To me, it seems like SmackDown needs to start making improvements soon rather than later. Something else I found very interesting, that the CEO of Fox, Charlie Collier, is looking for more content from the WWE, not necessarily SmackDown or Raw, but he's looking for them to, excuse me, my camera's going in and out. They want different content. We don't know if that's going to be reality shows, NXT, whatever. Everybody's kind of talking about that. But it'll be interesting to find out exactly what he's talking about. He's also reported that SmackDown is only going to be there temporarily on Friday nights. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the move could be. But again, that's going to be another wait and see on that. Here's what I think needs to be done in the WWE. Road Dogg has got to go. That's number one. I said it last video and I'm going to say it again. I think it's about time for Triple H to take full control of the company, him and Stephanie, because it's a young man's game. Vince, he's really stubborn and bullheaded. It's got to be his way or the highway. And I'm pretty sure that some of the guys in creative are probably like, you know what, some of this stuff doesn't make sense, but we got to go with it because it's something that Vince McMahon wants done and he has the final say so. I think they need to start taking the final say so away from Vince, which means I think Vince needs to step down sooner rather than later. Now to touch a little bit on the Lucha Underground lawsuit that I've been reading, and it's been going around Twitter and other media outlets. I think that's a shame that the way that they treat their talent. These guys are only making maybe $4,000 a year. They're only getting paid when they're on an episode. So let's say they do 22 episodes, but you're only on 4. It was reported that they won't even probably get a grand, $1,000 off of that. I think that's a shame. I'm also looking at it where the reports are saying that Lucha Underground will not even let them compete and work with other promotions while they're under contract with Lucha Underground. That has got to stop. This is 2019. Got to do better, guys. That's just ridiculous. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm waiting for more to develop. I know there's a lot of wrestlers in Lucha Underground that are not happy with the contracts and the stipulations that are going on. One thing I do want to talk about that everybody else is not really kind of diving into, excuse me again for my camera, it's acting real trippy today. I don't know what's going on, so forgive me on that one. I saw the reports where Phoenix had got injured at a wrestling event for another promotion. Here's what I'm wondering. And please feel free to leave a comment comment down below, excuse me, and let me know what's going on or your thoughts on this. I know that AEW is saying that they were going to offer health insurance, I believe, for the wrestlers, and they were trying to start a union. Now, here's my question. I heard Lance Storm and Booker T talk about this. What do you do when these guys get injured and then you can't use them for an AEW event pay-per-view? Then what do you do? Also, with them trying to get health insurance, if they get hurt, for another promotion, does AEW pick up that bill, or is that something part of the union that they're trying to establish within getting this union started? I'm a little kind of confused on that one right there, so if somebody can explain to me. I think that it's just going to be for AEW events. It would make more sense, but Phoenix just got injured. It was a stinger, from what I read, a stinger in his neck, so it doesn't look like it's going to be anything real severe. But yeah, what do you do when these guys get injured working for other promotions? How does AEW go about dealing with that? Now, to kind of sound like a negative Nancy and to piss on some people's parade, the AEW event that just happened, one thing I didn't like was the Lucha Bros, the way they attacked the Young Bucks. I'm sorry, you can tell it was too planned out. It's not like they went up there and destroyed the Young Bucks the way the NWO used to do stuff in the beginning, and the way they threw Rey Mysterio into the side of a trailer like a lawn dart and stuff. It was just a couple simple moves, and it's like, okay, why do we have the Young Bucks on the ground while the Lucha Bros are having a press conference and these guys are just on the ground? And it's like their press conference, it was not long, but it was long enough to where it's like, okay, why are these guys still on the ground? I think that was a bad look. I think the camera people or cameramen or people even with the cell phones, I think they should have panned up or zoomed in away from that. I mean, you had the Young Bucks on the ground for, I want to say, at least a minute or two or more. To me, it wasn't that big of an attack. But I know it was hype for Double or Nothing. So, I mean, that's the only thing I didn't like. I thought the press conference was really good. No surprise with Kenny Omega signing there. I am starting to get a little worried, though. Something that Booker T talked about on his podcast. Everybody's a vice president, and so then let's say they get started up and get a TV deal over the summer. Let's say they did get something around August, a TV deal, okay, hypothetically speaking. After about 6 months to a year, I feel like it's going to end up being another WCW thing, and I'm hoping that it's not. I welcome the alternative. Again, like I said, I watch all wrestling, European Defiant Wrestling. I watch Ring of Honor. I watch PWG. I watch Books, Reality of Wrestling. I've watched MLW. I watch WWE when they want to act right. I can't find TNA, Impact, or whatever they're called now, so I don't even try to even deal with that. I even go out here and support my local wrestling promotion. Shout out to Jay Lethal's school, Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling. So yeah, I'm somewhere everywhere with wrestling, but it's just, that's a little something I'm worried about. It's like, okay, are these guys going to book themselves as the champions always? Or are they going to let other people hold a title, and then for how long will they hold a title? 4 executive vice presidents seems a little weird to me. Kenny Omega ended up getting, I said Kenny King, oh my gosh. Kenny Omega ended up getting a 4-year deal. But in his deal, he gets the opportunity to still wrestle with other promotions. So I don't know how to feel about that. I thought he would just be with All Elite Wrestling, but Kenny is so huge out on the indie scene. So, I mean, that's Kenny Omega. Let the guy do what he's going to do. That's just my feelings on that. But yeah, I didn't like that segment of the press conference though. And then again, I'm kind of worried about with all these guys being the top guys with the vice president thing. Are we going to start seeing eventually a year, 2 years, even 3 years down the road to where it's a power struggle? Who's going to be the face of the company? I know a lot of people are like, well, they don't need a face of the company. Yeah, every wrestling company has had that face of the company. ECW had it. They had a couple. Everybody knew who Rob was and Taz, but and Dreamer. Those were like your key guys right there for ECW. Of course, for WCW, Ric Flair and Sting. They handled that for years. Of course, you still had the Horsemen and other key components, but as far as WCW NWA back in that era, especially in the mid-90s, it was always Flair and Sting. I know Vader came along and he was multiple-time champion. Ron Simmons had came along. You still had your guys like the Road Warriors in the tag team, Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, the Wild Eyed Southern Boys. But yeah, I'm just wondering with All Elite Wrestling, are they going to have a face for the face of the company, or are they just going to rely on everybody to bring the company along? I'm not mad either way. So yeah, I'm just a little worried though. I'm hoping that it doesn't get to the whole Hall and Nash thing where they're just booking themselves to win everything. I don't think they'll do that, but only time will tell. Other than that, man, I wish those guys the best in AEW. I can't wait for them to get really up and running, get a deal done with a TV network as soon as possible, and let's get this thing rolling, man. I'm really excited. I want to see professional wrestling, not sports entertainment. I'm going to say it again. I am a wrestling fan, not a sports entertainment fan. I don't care about pancakes. I don't care about B team chants. I don't care about Titus Catering. I really don't even care for Bobby Lashley doing all this posing. Give me some wrestling matches. Give me some fresh matches. Let's get this tag team division better in the WWE. And overall with wrestling, let's just get this thing really rolling. It's starting to kind of feel like the early to mid 90s when WCW started picking up steam. WWFE started picking up steam, and then ECW came in along. I think that would be tremendous for us to kind of get back in that period where it was 2 to 3 companies that I could turn to on TV and enjoy good wrestling and things like that. I don't know who the third would be. I'm just going to go with Ring of Honor. I think, of course, WWE is number 1. AEW could be 2 without a doubt. And Ring of Honor would be number 3 for me. I'm hoping that those guys there do great things. I'm looking forward to see what Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega do. By the way, if you check out my last video, they did do exactly what I asked, which I'm real happy about. I said they need to sign about 2 or 3 more female talents. Mission accomplished. I'm happy about that. I'm starting to also wonder, sorry about that, saying a lot of arms. My wife keeps getting on me about that. I'm wondering, are they going to have a division, a weight class division? I'm also waiting for these championships to be made. I don't know how long it's going to take for that to get going, but that's where I want to see next. I would like to see them maybe at Double or Nothing. I would like to see them unveil maybe a TV title at least, if not the AEW World Heavyweight Championship title. But yeah, around Double or Nothing at the event, or maybe a month after, I would like to see AEW reveal some type of championship belt. I know they're still talking about doing the ranking system. I hope they do that. Hope they do it the way that WCW did it back in the day with, the U.S. title, or whatever they're going to call it. That person is the number 1 contender and things like that. The Young Bucks did stress, let me touch on this real quick, that, yeah, they believe that tag team wrestling can be the main event of a pay-per-view. Kudos to the Bucks for saying that, because I've always felt that when you can have the Midnight Express and the Road Warriors, or the Horsemen and the Road Warriors close a pay-per-view, why not let tag team wrestling get back to those glory days like that? I think the Young Bucks will and can get that done. I can't wait for it. Another thing I want to touch on too, real quick, is everybody in the wrestling community. Again, I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying this. Can we all just tone it down a little bit and just be wrestling fans? I agree with some YouTubers. AEW, All Elite Wrestling, is real, okay? Just because they're not on TV right now does not mean that the company is not real, okay? Be happy that there's another alternative. And I see people all the time trashing AEW. For what reason, man? It's like, I am tired of seeing Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Braun Strowman. Give me something new, please. And I believe that AEW will do that. And with that being said, you all have a good night. Hopefully this week of WWE television is going to be a lot better and makes more sense. We're still waiting patiently to see the new changes. My patience are running just a little bit thin. I know there's some people out there that are not as quite as patient as I am. And you all know who I'm talking about. Shout out to Mr. JD from NY206. I agree with JD, man. I haven't seen anything yet. So let's hope that they get this ball rolling. And I'll talk to you later.